Hi, well in this video I'm going to be making a tool caddy. Now I'm going to be making it for my shoemaking tools, but actually it could work for any sorts of tools. I seem to have quite a lot of these little tools now, which I seem to have accumulated one way or the other, and I popped a little video up showing you how I clean some of these things up. So I thought, yeah, I'd like to get the cobbling side of things, the shoemaking side of things, all into the one little tool caddy. So what I've done, I've drawn up like a paper template, and it's a bit floppy, but I'm trying to get an idea of the perspective and the size that I want for this. So what I'm sort of thinking about is having, and I'll probably change all of this, having an empty hollow bucket section, but I may put a divider in for a handle, and then having some like leather pockets all around the edge. And the idea of the leather pockets is they would take the tools like that. My general sort of approach on this, having got my sort of vague idea of my design, I'm going to now knock out a wooden base and probably this central handle, which I'm not showing on my paper mock-up, but like another plank of wood going across to have a handle. So I'll start doing that, and then the intention will be to do the leather work to make all these sides and all these pockets. So quite a fun project, a bit of woodwork and a bit of leather work. And as I say, I'm using it for shoemaking tools, but actually you could use it for spanners, you could use it for needlework stuff, you could use it for artist materials and so on. I don't think it particularly has to be just shoemaking. Anyway, I'll get going. I've got this nice bit of yew plank that I picked up some time ago, and I've actually been using some French curves for the first time to do the marking out, and they're really good actually. You get nice different curves, you can sort of mirror them, so I've literally just been placing it, moving it around to get a nice curve at each end. I want it slightly like organic in shape. And then ditto with the middle wall, I've got a nice curved top to it, and I've got a nice curved handle hole in there. So yeah, I'd recommend these. I got them actually thinking they could be useful on this project, and they certainly are. So what I'll do next, I'll either jigsaw these out or bandsaw them out and get my two components. I'll then dowel the centre wall to the middle of the base, going down the length of the base piece, and there'll be leather wrap all the way around with the pockets. So I'm just going to fret out the handle area. Getting the handle hole nice and smooth. I'll now pop a spoke shave around the tops. Nice have it so that when you put your hand in to get tools out, you're not going to get sort of nastily hurt by it all. Yeah, that's what I want. Just going to bevel off a bit around the handle opening to make it a bit more comfortable. Nothing worse somehow than putting your hand into a handle to have it suddenly feel very rough. So I want to get rid of these sides. I'm just neatening it all off a bit with a knife. So just using a little, like a spoon carving type knife, just to try and get this down a little bit smoother. Nearly there. Just fine tune the other side. I'm just smoothing off the base a little bit at the moment, just doing the curves on it. And then what I'll do, I'll put a little chamfer just on these, like the underside, a very, very small one, not much at all. I don't really mind this being a bit rough because I'm going to be nailing and gluing the leather wall to this. But I suppose I better keep it a little bit refined in places, at least make sure I get a continuous curve. It's funny, I get so used to working with green wood, which is wet wood, but it's quite funny when you come to a seasoned bit of wood, it's so hard. I was used to, you know, doing this sort of thing and having long shavings piling off. Whereas when the wood's straight off a tree, it's so much easier to work. Right, I think that'll do for that. So that I think will be my outside base. So I'll just take the tiniest little rounding bit off all round so it doesn't sort of jar into things. Just means then when you put this on the floor there's not like a sharp corner. That's all I'm doing, I'm literally just rounding off this sharp edge. I've just drilled some holes in the base here, blind holes, and I'm just putting in these little copper points which will mark the dowel. So I then line this up as best I can, and the little dowel points will mark the inside of this. Press it all down, and what I get is a little row of like tiny dots, which is just enough for me to see to drill the holes, corresponding holes. And I'll just mark that end as X, otherwise I'll forget which end was which. Find this little system of dowels quite useful actually. So I'll now drill into this piece. So I've put a little depth stop on the drill, and now I can just put a point on the point. So putting a glue line down here, going to put the dowels in the holes. So these are the shorter distance for dowels, but I know that they're going into this base. That's why I'm doing this bit first. And all I do is just spread the glue with the dowel, get the glue on the sides of the dowel and pop it in the hole. So I'll just do that all along. Try and spread this glue a bit, get it on the dowel, pop it in the hole. There we are. So that will then give me the base for this little construction. Getting it down the holes again. Bit of glue on top of each dowel for good measure. Force it down the holes. And then hopefully I will get this to join. Right, line them up. I will tap them in. I'm just going to wipe my hands before I get glue literally everywhere. Please don't ever think things go perfectly for me. I've just cracked a base, which is a bit silly of me. I'm going to put glue in it and then clamp it, and the glue should be nice and strong. It's a bit annoying this, but never mind. I'm not going to fully open it, I'm just going to get it open enough to get a good dose of glue down there. I was hitting it too hard, and this wood is quite dry and it's brittle as a result. I was probably thinking I could hit it and get away with it. There you are. I will just spread that with a little screwdrivery thing. It gets nicely covered all inside. I think it's easy when you see things on video, you think, oh, it all goes perfectly all of the time, and the answer is it doesn't always, and this is a case in point. But don't let it put you off, just try and find a way around it and carry on. Most projects you get a problem. This glue, once it's dry, it's ordinary Evo stick wood glue. It should be, as they say, as strong as the wood, so in theory this should probably be stronger when it's done. There you are. Not ideal, but that's got out of that one. So I've given it a bit of a clean up and a bit of filler and a bit of a general sort of varnish over, so it's still drying a bit at the moment. Be a bit careful, I'm using an acrylic varnish, so not so bad as polyurethane. So what I'm going to do next is actually get the leather sides made, go around this. I'm quite pleased the way it's turning out at the moment. I think the carry handle works well. I have repaired my split. I had this nasty split. Well, that's now being glued and repaired, so I think that should be all good there. So I'm going to do a wrap of fairly thick veg tan and then fix the pockets to the veg tan. The thick veg tan, a bit of bridle shoulder, it will give this a bit of body and a bit of substance to the walls, and then I can think about sewing the pockets onto that. And then the broad order of operations after that will be to copper nail and glue the big thick bit of leather around this as a frame, so you'll end up with like a bucket arrangement with lots of pockets going around. Well, I'm just cutting out the side walls now, so I've got this bit of bridle shoulder which I've had knocking around for what seems like ever, because I use bridle back for my belts. The bit of shoulder for this is perfectly good, so I'm just cutting down across. I want a 40-inch wrap length for the wall. I can now cut a nice wall piece from this. It's a nice vegetable tan, about 3.5mm thick, so it's quite a sturdy piece of leather, which is good. Well, on goes a bit more varnish, building it up a bit to give it a bit of protection. So I've cut out my sidewall and I'm just going to bevel over the top so it's nice and sort of rounded, doesn't catch your hand as you get your tools. And I'm also going to just bevel on the outside so that it's again slightly smoother on the base and it doesn't sort of get chapped. So just using a number 2 edge beveler here and just taking a whisper down the length, and you get this lovely little string of leather forming. Always rather nice. I'm just applying some dye to the edges here, and as a bit of an experiment for me, I'm using one of these acrylic refillable marker pens. Ran at Little King Goods put me onto these, and I think, Ran, you're on a winner. I had to import them from the US. I didn't find a ready supply of this particular size in the UK, but I think if one has a look around, one could probably find something equivalent. I'll give you a close view. That's what it looks like, acrylic empty marker, and it's got like a ball bearing in the bottom and a bit of like piston inside, but it seems like you press the tip and it begins to shoot the dye up. Let's just give this a quick slick along. Get a nice little bit of shine on there, it's nice. Well, a change of plan actually. I'm going to put the pockets on the outside. Well, I'm at the sewing machine at the moment and I'm just going to wind up one of my bobbins. So I'm using quite a thick NM20 thread in the UK. That is quite a heavy duty thread. I want this to be a fairly strong tool tote, so I thought I'd use a nice strong thread. Just running a couple of tension tests. So I keep one of my bobbins for heavy duty threads, and so just going through now with a couple of scraps of the leathers just to see what they're like. And I'm taking a close look at the stitches to see that they're nicely forming. So that looks on the second go, good on top. And I think it needs a tiny bit more top tension because it's just peeping a little bit on the inside. So I'll just dial in a little bit more tension there. Well, at the moment I'm putting on the outside pockets. So I've cut some nice strips of the soft leather and I've got some double-sided tape which is spaced every 2 inches, and then I have 3.5 inches spacings to give like pockets at each point. So this will make quite a lot of pockets all going around the outside. I decided in the end I'd quite like to also have some pockets on the inside. I keep changing my mind. So on one side on the inside I'm going to double up and do the same sort of thing. So there will be a row of pockets on the inside as well which correspond with the sewing line on the outside. So I'm going to have to sew through 2 layers of the thinner calf leather as well as obviously the thick main body wall leather. So a bit of a challenge for the machine, but I think it will take it. So at the moment it takes a while. I am literally just getting all these in position ready for sewing up. So I'm sort of moving them up, sticking them down, moving them up, sticking them down. I'm stitching up the double thicknesses at the moment, so a little bit more demanding. My machine is managing it, which is good. So I'm having to make sure everything's nice and flat. There we are. Let's get rid of those loose bits so they don't get in the way. So I'll carry on going down these. The tape is quite helpful as it does keep everything roughly in position. Well, I've now sewn up my pockets, so I've got all the external pockets all sewn to the wall, and then the internal pockets that I'm having on one side. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fix the wall to the wood, and I'm going to do that with a combination of some tacks and also some EvoStick adhesive, so some strong adhesive, contact adhesive. So I'm just applying the adhesive to both surfaces, and then I'll let it dry a little bit and then press them together. I'm doing it half at a time just because it'll be a bit easier to manage it all. That's good enough now. Rightio. So just pressing it down as I go along. I'll start to tack these down. And this will just help hold it all nicely in place. I'll just pop a few of these in at the moment. I'll do the same around the other side, and that will be the wall semi tacked on. So I'm just hammering in the end piece now. This end pocket here, I had a little bit left over. I thought actually it would be good, if not for scissors, then for a pen. So that's why it's a smaller one. At the moment I'm just fixing the bottoms of these pockets. So what I'm doing, I'm folding them and then putting a couple of copper tacks in. So they'll go like that. They'll hold the tools and they have a couple of tacks to hold it down. So all I'm doing for these is basically overlapping the leather, just pushing it down and giving a couple of little folds, and then I can pop a couple of tacks through. So it's 1, 2. I personally quite like the decorative effect of the tacks. I did consider putting a little like cover over all of this, but actually, as it's a working toolbox, it's quite good fun. But I mean, you could, I was just experimenting with doing a bit of broguing and things like that. You could have all sorts of fun if you wanted to here, doing different sort of edge finishings and designs. But I think I personally quite like it simple. So, all finished. I've got a few tools in here now as well. And there's just like a side view. Handle feels quite comfortable. An inside view. There you are. Enjoyed doing that. Nice project. You could use this for anything really. You could use it for anything from car spanners, I guess, through to embroidery materials, to anything where you want a few pockets, paintbrushes, cosmetics. I'm sure we could adapt this sort of design and pattern and have some fun as well. Final look at the tool tote. Enjoyed doing this a lot. It's been a fun project, and it'll be a useful way of keeping these tools all in the one place, nice and safe, out of harm's way. I'll give you a view of the underside. There we are, that's the underside. So, see you in the next film. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. There'll be some funny things going on with this set, you know. I've got some projects in mind. Bit of fun. Okay, bye-bye then. Bye-bye.